Coming to you live from the great state of Louisiana. It is Simply Super Dave with another podcast of Staying Super with Simply Super Dave. Podcast that explores different types of thoughts, deep thoughts, stupid things, stories of my history, just kind of putting it all out there, and how I keep swimming despite all of life's things that have happened. Because let's face it, folks, everybody has things thrown their way, right? Everybody has things don't go exactly how they planned. So how do you continue going forward with a positive attitude regardless of all the feet stomping down on your back at the bottom of the pile? That's what the podcast is all about. And today I wanted to I've been inspired lately, and big shout out to my boy, the Paint Man himself, and that's what we're going to call him, the Paint Man. And this dude right here has inspired me lately, and I love it because all he is doing is reinvigorating the very thoughts and processes I had going in my life at one point, where I felt like you just feel more connected with everything around you. You feel nothing but love and compassion. Even amongst your anger, you catch yourself and feel like you need to do the right thing instead of what best benefits you. Loving conversations like that, especially interactive conversations. And me and this guy have known each other for almost 20 years. So you can only guess how many conversations we've already had about just about anything and everything. Me and this guy were talking about COVID in 2019 before it hit in 2020 because we kept up. We may be old, but we ain't dumb, okay? I've always felt like no matter what advancements happen in society, that I would always try to learn or be a part of so I can stay in the loop regardless of my age or how slow I become. Like when I play video games, I can't play Fortnite like most of these 5-year-olds because they play with all their fingers and their brain focused on just rhythms, and I can't do all that. I do not have that type of hand-eye coordination. And so when I play old school, no build, and in builds. I still play the game the way it was meant to be played, but I don't like going to zero builds because everybody in there is a crack shot, and I don't need to be lasered from 300 yards away either. So I play builds. I enjoy playing against builders. The game has changed so much that the build thing doesn't even fucking matter at this point. But that is a Fortnite issue. And, it's the way the game constantly changes. Now, there are two type of gamers out there right now. There is the gamer that is pissed off because the game has changed so much. Then there's the gamers that are loving the constant. It never gets old. You know what I'm saying? So that, I get it. Because unlike Mario or Legend of Zelda, you can always go back and play the original game. In Fortnite, there are creative maps, so you can play the original game, sort of. But let's face it, once that season passes, unless they can bring back memories, but it will never be what it was then. The game itself and mechanics and the playability of it and what's available to do on the platform has, I would say, insanely doubled, and it's going to get bigger with the investment of Disney building a metaverse, I guess is what, I don't know what you would call it, an epic verse, because Epic owns Fortnite, and they're getting $1.5 billion from Disney to build Disney World in Fortnite, basically. Very interesting. It's fun to watch what video games have become, and seeing what Fortnite has done to sustain its top game status since its conception, I think in 2017. So it's pretty impressive. Maybe 2018, but I want to say it's 17. Yeah, because it started out as a survival game. The Battle Royale mode shot it into a whole different, like, people came just to play that, but it was a whole different game. Fortnite is more than what you know, folks. Dive into it if you like hide and seek. You like playing, like I said, there's racing games on it. This is my plug for Fortnite, apparently. And there is Rock Band. You can play Rock Band because you can download jam tracks of your favorite artists. Everything from Tupac, the Lady Gaga, Ariana Grande. It sounds like a Taco Bell meal. To some of my favorite bands like Green Day, 9 Inch Nails. I mean, just White Zombie even has a song on Fortnite. I mean, it's just a different game than it was when I first started playing it, and I played in 2020. So I've been playing 4 years now, and wow, I love it. I still do. I just don't have time to play anymore. Since Thanksgiving, my whole life has been different. As you have tell by how many times I have dropped a podcast. This has been a lengthy in-between, so this podcast is kind of a catch-you-up on what has been going on. And I would have to say that the SimplySuperDave is working twice as hard than he ever planned on at this age. And I'm riding up on the great age of 50. And then I started thinking about this because this came up and over the previous days, or at least I know that I'm very fascinated by this very concept of time and how it really truly does not exist. Like, we break things up in years, days, mornings, evenings, nights, all based on what's happening where you're at every day. But the day never really ends. You know, like there should be just existence never stops, ever. It's one constant moving moment. We take naps. We go to sleep. We break our days up. We have to have something. You know, we count. That's what we do. That everything that the calendar and all that, that's just what we came up with. I mean, it would have been something regardless. There's no such thing as no calendar. You know what I'm saying? But it's just a made-up concept for us to benefit from and to really, you know, from the very moment, get everybody kind of on the same page. But it's weird how that's a natural progression because people kept up from all corners of the earth without knowing one another. You know what I'm saying? Like, where did that start? Who kept up with how many days it's been? And when did they think it was called a day? You know, you get into all that. So everything you know now, everything, especially at my age, 50, I know that everybody that was born in the 1900 generation and on up has been taught to be different than any other human being in previous lifetimes, where things like education was very important. Not saying education is not important, but like making laws where people had to go to school, a parent don't get their kid to school, or there are too many days they come get the parent. And I mean, it's just gotten, you know, dress codes and very controlling environment. And it seems like the reputation and that kind of thing, it's not so much about the education, but the education is always up to the student. But the public education system was formed for a reason, to push certain ideas, a certain narrative, to endorse being a very good worker that does what they're told to do. And that's what this society today is just a consumer worker society, period. They need you to work as much as you can for the littlest amount of money that you can, so you can spend as much money as you can on the very things that you're essentially providing. You know what I'm saying? Like, We produce all these things. These companies make the money. But yet, they make such large profits, but they don't put it back into themselves. They say they invest in themselves, but they invest in like markets and stocks and stuff. They don't actually invest into the company. They might make sure the trucks are good or whatever, but are the employees being paid? There are certain companies that really do take care of their employees. Coca-Cola is a very famous I probably shouldn't have said that name, but I'm speaking very highly of them because it's one of the more reputable jobs to get working for Coke and the money that they make. I have never heard a Coke employee complain that they weren't making good money, ever. Even when they complain they're not making enough, they still say it's better than anywhere else. I mean, so obviously Coke is one of those top-tier places that you would like to get a job working for. You know, as an average, everyday person that didn't go to college, or if you did go to college, doesn't matter really. College education only means you a price bump. It's like going in the military because you took junior ROTC in high school. You're going to get an automatic stripe, so you get a pay grade. You get a bump up a little bit. There's a payoff. But overall, time. Am I 50? Or have I just aged? You know, like in this moment. I believe life is one continuous moment. No time. The past always exists because you can remember it. The future always exists because you always look forward to it. I think the secret to life is to never get caught in those two dimensions for very long. I'm not saying it's bad to do either one. I'm just saying, as everything else, and I've mentioned it several times in the podcast, moderation is key. Because anything and everything, if you do too much of it, will ultimately ruin you. Physically or mentally. Doesn't matter which. The secret to life is always living in the now. Is always taking advantage of this moment as the most important moment. Regardless of what past moments you have already went through. Or what future moments you are looking forward to. What are you doing about this moment? Are you doing what you want to do? Are you trying to be happy? Are you putting yourself ahead of others? It's necessary to do that sometimes, don't get me wrong. But on an everyday basis, I certainly don't think my life is more important than anyone else's out there. I like to get the door for people. I could care less who they are, what. I just enjoy doing small things like that. Always letting someone else go before me. Feeling guilty if I actually take someone else's, you can go before me. You know, I rather, no, please, you. I'm cool. I'm not in a hurry. That's one of my biggest sayings I tell people is I'm not in a hurry. Do whatever you got to do. I do not want time to control my life. And I've been practicing that a lot, especially with my job. Because I deal with a job where if you're not in favor, they'll make you wait and they'll swing their favorite vendors through the back door of the store. I'm a vendor, of course. And since I'm new to the route, I'm not known yet. So, and they have tried and tested to see if I would break, and I have not, and I will not. And I have tried and tested to see if I would break, and I will not. And they have tried and tested to see if I would break, and I will not. And they have tried and tested to see if I would break, and I will not. And they have tried and tested to see if I would break, and I will not. And they have tried and tested to see if I would break, and I will not. And they have tried and tested to see if I would break, and I will not. And they have tried and tested to see if I would break, and I will not. And they have tried and tested to see if I would break, and I will not. And they have tried and tested to see if I would break, and I will not. And they have tried and tested to see if I would break, and I will not. And they have tried and tested to see if I would break, and I will not. And they have tried and tested to see if I would break, and I will not. And they have tried and tested to see if I would break, and I will not. And they have tried and tested to see if I would break, and I will not. And they have tried and tested to see if I would break, and I will not. And they have tried and tested to see if I would break, and I will not. And they have tried and tested to see And I will do everything they fucking tell me to do, no matter how crazy it seems. And they'll know because I'll be smiling, because that's how I look at it. Even in my most angry moments sometimes, where I feel like I have legit reason to be pissed off, I really try to look at it as a joke. Because life is always serious, but life is also not always serious. It just depends. And in that moment, I had control of that. Because after I complied and did whatever, they just rightly got me done and moved along. And, nothing was said. Nothing came bad of it. And that's a success to me. My interactions with people on a daily basis, I want to walk away knowing that we're cool. Always. I know there's times where I have to be the bad guy. And I have to put myself first. Doesn't mean it's easy. Time is interesting. I, for one, feel like even my worst mistakes in my life weren't a waste of time. They were lessons. And if they weren't lessons, most of the time I always pull a good memory. I love memories. It's weird how you can close your eyes and relive a memory, and you would not know the difference between that and real life, which is why I believe everything is one continuous moment. Because the past really isn't in the past when you're in that moment, right? You can remember the feeling, everything. I was just thinking about this the other day, and I would like to hear a answer back if anyone knows. But I know I have an inner voice, as we all do. And even when I think of something and I voice it in my head, it's something I'm pushing out that I want to hear them say, or I say to them. It's like you're controlling both sides of the conversation, kind of, when you're dreaming. But I don't remember, out of every dream I can ever remember, I don't remember there being conversation. Not in the voice version. Like, a conversation's obviously happening, right? But you don't hear it, but you can through seeing it happen. Does that make sense? Like, they were angry, it was about this, but that was never said. You just saw them physically acted out, so the imagery tells the story. I think I really can't think if I hear any kind of voicing in dreams. Because it's the existence without the physical voice, which our subconscious, I think, works that way. With no inner voice. It's a feeling. It's the answer without saying anything. And that's that thing that tugs in the back of you when you make a decision about something, but you're not sure about it, and you feel like you may have made the wrong decision. That guilt, that second guessing, there's a reason why you feel that way. It's because maybe the other answer was the right answer, but this one seemed like it benefited you right now. Because your subconscious is basically a spiritual brain. And then you have your physical brain, which is what you've been blessed with to be given free will. In other words, you feel like you know what the right thing to do is, but the wrong thing to do is the right thing for you and it benefits you, so you choose to do it or not do it if that benefits you. You know what I'm saying? Like, could you help me with this? No, I don't have the time. Not taking a moment to open a door for somebody when you clearly see they're there. And you choose to just go ahead because fuck them, right? You don't know them. When you treat people as if you don't know them, that's the disconnect. I treat total strangers as if I've talked to them at least once before. Like, hey, you know what I mean? Just really into to whatever I'm going to say. I try to practice these. Do I always pull them off? No, I'm not perfect. Nobody is. You're going to fuck up. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to sin. You're going to put yourself first. Everyone is carrying their own bag of temptations, dealing with their own personal 7 deadly sins. Everybody has their 7 deadly sins. Hopefully, a lot of people don't have murder checked off on that list, but yeah. So let's hope that wrath is never. But wrath it can vary. That's just anger. It's a very deadly sin. It can make you do things that you wished you didn't. But put back in the moment, you still probably do it anyway. Like I said, life is really one ongoing moment of you learning from yourself. All the answers are within. It just depends if you want to dig in that direction and find them. I think a lot of people soak in information, like look up answers, but they never see the path to the answer. So they don't know how to solve the problem. They just know the answer to the problem. So not understanding how you got to that answer, if you ever had to do it on your own, you know at least you know what you're trying to get to, but you don't know how to work it out and get there. And I'm not just talking about math problems. That's the kind of thinking that's missing the most in our society, is the figuring out part. We all learning, but no one's figuring it out. The AI is doing all of that. I watched an AI created illustration a while ago, and the way it moves and stuff reminds me of how dreams work. So I was wondering, since AI can picture what we are thinking in our head when it faces you and reads your eyes, it can replicate an image in words of what you're thinking in your fucking head. This technology has been around for a while, mostly in the newer phones. I still have an iPhone 10, so I don't think mine does it, but I don't know if that's a local thing or if that's something that's just turned on from somewhere, because, wow, you know. But when I see the AI art, I wonder, is that how a human's mind looks like? If you were able to put it on a screen and see someone's dream, would it be that weird kind of movement, you know? Because life is so many different frequency, and we're just living on one of them. You shift it just a little bit to this frequency, it's a whole different universe. It's the same, but with subtle differences, different outcomes. It's all one continuous moment. And don't let that scare you, like, oh, well, life don't mean anything. No. There's a lot of basics in life that still mean a whole hell of a lot. If you have any type of if you're any type of support for somebody, if you're a father or a mother, or parent, and on up, aunts, uncles, whatever, if there's ever someone that's dependent on you to learn how to live life, to be someone's someone's mentor, then yes, Wow, that's an amazing amount of horn honks there from that train. Okay. There's going to be another one. Probably one more. It's the really long one, apparently. And that's it. We're across the road. Anything that comes in across that road now is just gonna smashed. Anyway, like being a parent, that is a job. You know, that's a basic. Every creature on the planet has to do that. Okay, so there's nothing that just humans do that's really necessary that we think. I think the native Indian here in the Americas before they were all brutally killed off was doing everything right as far as how to live on this planet by living with nature and off of nature instead of destroying it to build something that we prefer. Does that mean I'm going to move out of my apartment tomorrow? No. But would I like to build a log cabin? Yes. Do I think I can? No. I need to find a log cabin already built? Yes. Out in the mountains somewhere. I always said I would end up being a hermit. Anyways, I just wanted to ponder off the idea of time. What is time to you? Does it matter? I know it matters what time you got to get to work and stuff. I'm talking about, does it really truly matter? You have full control of living in the present, in the past, in the future, anytime you like. You have an opportunity in every single split second to change your life, to do things right, or to keep doing what you're doing, or to fall apart. All these things are happening right now as we talk to somebody, somewhere. So what are you doing with your time? I enjoy doing nothing. I enjoy watching everything. Trying to see life from a big picture standpoint. But I'm just like everybody else. I have my bad days, my good days. I have rough days, I have smooth days. I have some days where I sleep the whole day away. I'm not 20 anymore. I'm not a know-it-all. I'm just a guy, a simple Dave, just testifying how he feels about his very life. In the bubble, the energy, the God, everything. Time, I got plenty of it. Only because I never know when it's going to end. And neither of us do. I hope everybody makes the most of every moment and makes the most of every day and never take for granted that they woke up. I don't care what you believe in. All I care is if you go out there and put your best foot forward and you control the day and don't let the day control you. Love and laughter is the only way to conquer hate and fear. So go out there and be a conqueror. Don't be another victim. It's your moment, your choice. Much love and laughter to every one of you. Thank you so much for listening to all the podcasts, and maybe there'll be another. And that is the crow of the rooster says we're done with this one. Thanks, everyone, once again. Please check me out on TikTok. Please check me out on Twitter, Facebook, even Instagram. SimplySuperDave. I'm everywhere. Check out all the YouTube. Well, don't forget YouTube. YouTube has it all. It's like the library of Dave. So make sure you subscribe to that because it's free. And everything is free, actually, because I can't pay for it. Why would I make you do it? Anyway, thanks, everybody, for all the support through the last couple years and through all the social media platforms and everything. And I'll keep doing what I'm doing. And hopefully y'all just continue to enjoy the ride. And again, can't say it enough. Much love and laughter to everyone. Dave out.